Well, good evening, everyone. This is Catrina Reese with Catrina Reese LLC. So nice to see you plugging in today for our session of coaching during COVID. Oh my God, coaching during COVID. How many of you know that this has been a trying time for coaches, whatever niche you may have? But let me tell you something, you still can be successful. I wanted to kind of share with you why I wanted to come on today and just kind of really just drop some information and some nuggets to those coaches that feel like, or those that are in business that feel like, oh my God, since COVID, I really haven't been able to do what I want to do. I'm so used to meeting people face to face. I'm so used to being in large arenas and big venues, and now I've had to, cut my attendance, cut my platform, having to do more virtual. So I kind of wanted to come on and share just some of the things that I have been doing that has continued to keep me successful during this pandemic since March of last year. Uh, First of all, this show is going to be, or this session will be broadcast on Sensational Sounds Radio next week. So I hope you guys definitely plug back in to this session to get some tidbits and nuggets that I wanted to, again, to share with you. So I want to first of all tell you why I kind of wanted to do this session. As a coach, you always have to have a why, why you do what you do, why you feel like that you are a blessing to, you know, the body of Christ. Why are you a blessing to the world? Why do you feel like that you're doing, or why you've been called to do what you do? And so that was one of the things that I wanted to kind of tell you what my why is of doing this today. So I was on a webinar the other day with Ona Brown. And for those of you that don't know, Ona Brown is the daughter of Les Brown, who is one of the world-renowned motivational speakers of our time. And so she kind of talked about her story, and she talked about how we all have a story, not only as coaches, but as entrepreneurs, as human beings, that we all have a story to share with someone. And so that was the catalyst to why I wanted to do this session, webinar, this interview, or whatever you want to call it. I wanted to do this today because one of the things that she talked about, being the daughter of Les Brown, was how people think, oh, your dad's famous, you're traveling. She also has a brother that does motivational speaking as well and is a coach. And she says she started out just as an admin person, opening mail, just reading all the transformation letters of people that lives had been changed because of her father. And that's what she did, because her father was just so overwhelmed with, just being pulled in all these directions, being, this phenomenal speaker and traveling and doing all this. So, you back in the day, you still got letters. So she would be that person that would go through and read the letters and, tell her father about people that, have, just said how much of an impact that he made on their lives. And so over the years, he groomed her as well as her brother. And so now she stands in her own right as a phenomenal coach, motivational speaker. And so she talked about how during this season, it's important that you tell your story, that a lot of the people that were on the webinar were people that, and we hear this all the time, that they don't have the big platform like Les Brown or the Lisa Nichols or, all of the other wonderful, motivational speakers that we know about, black and white. And so she felt in her heart at this time and in this season that she wanted to reach those that are not at that level. Her father has, you know, been and coached some of the best celebrities and the well-known celebrities, all over the world. And she's had that wonderful opportunity to be a part of that. But, in that, it's also about giving back. And as a coach, you need to understand why you're giving back. What is, again, your purpose, your why for what you do and what you do. My why is because I've always felt that, people gravitated to me to share with them. I'm not a judgmental person, so I don't give advice, but I'd have a listening ear. Now, if you ask me, I definitely will give you that. But I have a listening ear, and so people have always gravitated to me, and I've always been able to, be empathetic, sympathetic, and just have that listening ear for people. And along with that, that's what she talked about, literally just knowing what your why is. So while we were in, this private session, because, for one thing, and I want to say this too, when you get to a certain level with your coaching business, and don't get me wrong, there are a lot of coaches out there that are doing a lot of different ways of reaching, the people that they need to reach. There's Facebook, there's Instagram, there's Zoom, there's, all these different, platforms. And so it was an honor to be able to be, a part of that group that it hadn't even been advertised. Nobody even, knew. And she said that she did this based on information that years ago I had sent to, Les Brown in reference to, a class that he was teaching. And it was a limited class. And of course, I didn't make the cut. And so again, these were people that, years later, she wanted to reach back out and, and help and be, and bless. And I just felt so honored to be a part of that. But one of the ladies that was on the Zoom conference, she said something, and she asked Ona this question. And she said, Ona, she said, in your opinion, because of COVID, when will we be able to um, get back and do one-on-one, face-to-face sessions, with people? And she said, because I miss that as a coach. She said that, as a coach, I've always, been a part of, touching people and, physically being able to be in their presence, whether it's a group session or whether it's a one-on-one session. And she said, when will we be able to get back to that? And Ona said, you know what? I don't know if things will ever be the same again. Because as we know, we thought the pandemic would ease down as 2021 came in. And as a matter of fact, it has spiked back up. And so everybody is finding different ways to scramble how they're going to keep their clients, how they're going to get new clients, how they are going to reach, new people, because once you've coached and counseled and consulted and, and gotten paid, of course, helping people, then, there's a new group of people that you want to reach. And so that's what I want to talk about today, some options for coaches during the pandemic. And so that's why she was talking about something. And then all of a sudden I just heard something just come up, out of my spirit saying coaching during COVID-19. So that's what this session is all about, coaching during COVID-19. And again, I want to thank each and every one of you that's listening in. This will be re-recorded, again, broadcast on Sensational Sounds Radio as part of the Let's Talk Kingdom with Catrina platform. So again, thank you for joining me. So I'm going to share a couple of things that, I've heard from other coaches. I've heard from a bunch of my colleagues. I've heard from a lot of my friends, and even some of my clients about not only how can you continue to have a thriving coaching business during the pandemic, but how can you continue to reach more people? How can you do that? Where can you do that? Can you hold on to your current clientele? There's just so many moving parts because, a lot of people, don't want to meet face to face. A lot of people aren't comfortable with online and virtual. So I wanted to kind of talk about that a little bit. So some options that I feel that coaches can use during this pandemic, one, of course, is what I'm doing now, which is virtual, which I'm using Zoom. But there are so many different um, applications out there that you can use. And so I want to list a few of them. Of course, a lot of people are using Facebook Live, which is, great. And I started out doing that. And then I moved over to Zoom because I just like that platform a little better. And with Zoom, there's so many different integrations that you can pay for. You can integrate into your YouTube account. You can integrate into Facebook. You can integrate into so many other social media platforms. So again, Zoom is a great virtual application. There's Google Meet. I just recently saw in my Google account that now I can actually set up a meeting, and one of the things that I like to do, since now, we're on a curfew here in North Carolina, one of the things that since I'm not able to meet my potential brides and grooms face to face, I do Zoom meetings now with them. And so Google Meet has now adopted that platform as well. So there's Google Meet, there's Duo. Of course, we've always had Skype. We've always had Skype. I think a lot of people are, just revisiting Skype, and that's a great one. We have Microsoft Teams. Microsoft has one. There's House Party. There's WhatsApp. There's Duo. So there are so many different online virtual applications that you can use in order to connect with your clients. And, a lot of coaches now, are doing virtual events, not only virtual coaching and teachings and trainings, but they're doing one-on-one sessions. I do them myself when I do with my wedding business. I meet virtually with my couples that I do premarital coaching with. And it has begun to work wonders. You can even use your phone. There are, I think, on some people's Android phones, when you make a phone call, you can do video. So there are so many options out there for coaches, and I encourage you. A lot of people say, well, I just miss that one-on-one, that personal one-on-one, but you can still make it personal one-on-one, but you're doing it virtually and you're live. It's just that you're not physically in each other's presence because of COVID and because you want to be safe and you want to, not only for your client, but also for yourself. So think about using those virtual applications if you're not already using them. Another thing, that once you begin to use these virtual applications, you know, I started out always using Zoom, and, on my job, we use different applications. We use Skype all the time. So in a way, guys, when you think about it, we've always had exposure to the virtual applications. Let's put it that way. But we didn't use them in the way that we're using them now. We use them for our job. We use them for some of our businesses. But now we're using them 24/7. And if you're not used to it, then just dive in there and learn how to use it. A lot of people are doing podcasts. That's wonderful. A lot of people are doing, online stores where there's selling their products, they're selling their courses. That's another great thing that you can do. So set up your course online now. And there, again, are so many different applications that you can use to set up online courses. And you really have to go in there and really get into the meat of how you set those up. There's Teachable, there's Kajabi. Kajabi is a good one. There's, I think it's called Thinkif. That's another great one. So coaches, if you are looking at expanding your portfolio, start offering online classes. I did a great time management class for people that started in August last year, and we ended in November. And I use Zoom, and I also set up a separate, Facebook page for, my students. And I would go in and I would teach, on time management once a month, to them. And then at the end of the course, they took a test and they got a certificate for that. So, I mean, you can still reach out to your clients. Just don't be afraid of technology. Don't be afraid of technology. I mean, don't think you can do. They want to see your transparency. They want to see that you're learning this just like they are. But the thing is, when what you're teaching them and what you're sharing with them, you know what you know, because that's the gift that you've been given to the that you want to give to the world. And that's one thing that I wanted to say to you. If you feel like you have something that you want to share with the world, you have a story, you have a testimony, you have something that can help someone else, then go ahead and start looking at ways to deliver that message. Um, don't be afraid. A lot of people are doing it in book formats. They're sharing, their testimony, they're sharing their lives, they're sharing their love and their passion, what they do in book form. So begin to look into that. You could do little, booklets, little brochures. You don't have to do a big, thick book, but something that where you're teaching and you're meeting the need. That's what coaching is. It's just all about meeting the need of someone. And that's what you have to do. You always have to remember that you're not coaching just to coach what you know and what you can teach others, but and that's I take that back. You are coaching, and what you know and what your skill set is not only from experience in school and all of that, but when you coach someone, you want to hear what their needs are. You have to come from that perspective as a coach. So remember, when you're coaching someone, help them to set smart goals. Um, SMART goals, as we coaches know, is an acronym, and we always want them to be specific goals. We want them to be um, manageable goals, measurable goals. We want them to be attainable goals. We want them to be realistic goals, and we want them to be uh, I call them the T for transparency. You want it to be transparent. You want it to be where you say, I can do this. I may have a little bit of struggle, but I know that I can do this in the end. So be transparent about setting goals and try not to make them so high that you can't reach them. So that's what so it's help your clients set smart goals. And also when you're doing group sessions on these virtual platforms, you know, be yourself. Just be yourself. Be comfortable in who you are and the knowledge that you know. I always tell people all the time that you're a subject matter expert. I learned that in the corporate world. Whatever your subject matter expertise is, then that's your gift to someone else. For me, I believe that my gift is helping others. It could be a coach, it could be, a mother that is just struggling to manage her time effectively. It could be a couple who, just have some communication issues, whether they're married or whether, they're thinking about getting married. So as a coach, that's what my job is. I do that through my own experiences of what I've dealt with in my life, and then what I've learned and what I've been taught, and the training that I've gotten. And I just mesh all that together. Does everything work for everybody? No, it doesn't. That's what you have to understand as a coach. People, when they seek you out as a coach, first of all, they should do their research to know, is this a good fit for me? You know, what they are, what they offer, will this help me reach the goal that I need? And then you have to really talk to them and let them understand that you're there to coach them. And because we know what a coach is, you give instructions, you give directions, but you don't go out there and you don't do the work for them. You don't do the work for them. You go out there, you give them the tools, you give them the resources, you give them the pep talk, you give them the motivation, but you don't go out and you do the work for them. They have to go out and do the work for themselves. And that's what a coach is. Whatever niche you're in, that's what you do. You know, a lot of people are in health and wellness. A lot of people are in, life coaching. A lot of people are in time management coaching. You know, there's thousands and thousands of niches out there that people are coaching in. And a lot of times you coach from your experiences. I can't be no, I could probably be, but I'm not certified in it. I could probably be a health and wellness coach because I've lost 40 pounds, but that was a personal journey for me. So that wasn't something that said, oh, I wanted to lose weight so I could be a health and wellness coach. I can give you information. I can tell you what worked for me. But again, as a coach, remember, they have to do the work themselves, because if they don't work it, it won't work. You do have people that you give assignments, you give them what they need to be successful and to go to the next level. But if they don't put the work in, it's not gonna do them, and it's not gonna do you any good. So again, they have to put the work in, and then sometimes what they get may not work. Sometimes you as a coach, when you're looking for a mentor or you're looking for a coach to help you get to the next level, sometimes you and that coach don't mesh. And that's just reality. That happens. That sometimes you don't mess with the coach that you may have, and that's okay. You find who and what works for you. I have to really give this shout out to my very first coach. When I first got my certification and I was looking for a coach, her name was Kelly Shepherd Watts. And Kelly, she was a phenomenal coach. She helped me understand um, what it was to be a coach, what you needed to do in order to be a successful coach, and where to move from this place to that place, and all the underlying things that you, not only the certification that you have to get, but also understanding how you need to be compassionate, how you also need to be, what's the word I'm looking for? Not browbeat, but you have to be stern with your clients, because a lot of times clients don't want to, you know, they don't want to put the work in, and you have to say, you know what, you got to do this. This is on you. And so you do have to be a mom sometimes. You have to be a father. You have to be stern. So as a coach, you have to know all of those things that it takes to motivate and push, your client or the persons that's working with you and that you're working with. So one thing that I wanted to say, that I got from this wonderful article, and it talks about uh, how is distant coaching different from in the classroom coaching? And this is a really good article, and it was by Stephen Barkley. And I just kind of wanted to read a little bit of it. And it talked about, he was part of a summit called Simple Coaching Summit. And they were talking to different people. They were talking about teachers and how they're having to, teach students, virtually, because most teachers, when you go to college, you never thought about, having to teach a class virtually. You're in the classroom, you're there with the students, you're on the chalkboard, you're doing this and then that. So this has changed for, across the nation, across the board, for all, for everyone. So he talked about trust, the role of trust, that when you as a coach, when you begin to work with your client, you have to establish a trust. He says this, I have always stressed that vulnerability is a critical factor in a teacher gaining from an investment in coaching. Building trust increases vulnerability. Crisis creates vulnerability. People will respond to that vulnerability by either stepping forth and welcoming, even requesting input from others, or pulling back, seeking safety in being invisible. Relationship remains the beginning point of coaching and its foundation. So as a coach, you must begin to establish that relationship and that trust. You have to care about your client. Having a personality of caring about people is very, very important, because I know that's what I desire as a coach, that not only that someone cared about me to be able to coach me to the next level that I'm moving, next levels that I'm moving in my business, but that I care about my clients. I care about my couples when I talk to them, because I know I'm married myself and I have all these different businesses that I, operate. And so first of all, I always remind my couples when I'm talking with them, you have to take care of home first. Home is first priority. That's your first ministry. So when you let them know that you care about them, you care about what their outcome is, you care about what they're feeling, then that builds that trust. You can't be a good leader unless you generally like people. That is how you bring out the best in them. And that's a quote from Richard Branson. And I'm going to say that again. Care. Having a personality of caring about people is important. You can't be a good leader unless you generally like people. That is how you bring out the best in them. That's a quote from Richard Branson. And trust. Trusting someone doesn't mean trusting that they won't screw up, because they will, as you will. You simply trust them to do their best before, during, and after. And that's a quote from Bruce Deal. And I wanted to share that with you because, again, as a coach, you have to care, you have to trust, and you have to be a little bit vulnerable, because, again, they want to see the real you. Yes, you're trained in what you do. You know you can get results because not only have you done this yourself, but it has worked with others. And that's how you can continue to keep your, the clients that you have, and to give great testimonies and reviews of what you've done, because they've taken what you taught them and it's been effective in their lives. That's one of the things I wanted to say to you as far as a coach during COVID-19. You have to make sure that your client knows that the time that I'm spending with you, and even the money that I'm spending with you, am I going to get the results that I need? And again, because you have people that have taken your classes, that have taken your courses, that have seen you, move forward in your business, in your life. They've seen you move and make big strides. Then that's how they begin to say, okay, I see what they're doing. I want that. I want to have, I want my life to be blessed like that. I want my marriage to be blessed like that. I want my business to be run like that, because I see people are visual. And when they see genuinely that you care about them and that you want the best for them, and that they will be blessed by using these steps and programs that you offer them. And at the end, that if they stick it out and they do what they're supposed to do, if they're successful, then they'll give you a great review. They'll give you a great testimony. And a lot of things that I do, I want you to do this as well if you're not already doing it. Do surveys. Go back to clients that took your classes and, or took your workshops or took your courses, and get their input, because that input that they give you will help you get better, not only as a teacher, not only as a facilitator, not only in developing new courses and other courses, but even the ones that didn't stick the course out and you maybe failed, get their input as well. What was something that, you may have missed in your course or in your teaching, that you lost them, or, they felt like, well, this wasn't worth me taking the time, when this is something that, I realize that I don't need that. And that goes back again, like I was saying earlier, when you're looking for a mentor or a coach, you have to make sure that you mesh, that what they're offering you is going to help you move to the next level. So as a coach, I would definitely tell you to make sure when you're offering your services, and at the end of your services, make sure that you ask your clients and your group, your tribe, whoever they are, ask them for honest feedback. That's very important, because again, that helps you grow and helps you see the areas that you need to step it up in as well. And don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to get that criticism, because again, that criticism will help you develop into a better coach. And I believe that will help you develop into a better coach if they're doing it constructively. Now, if they're just doing it just because they're mad, and then that's a different story. But always look at the feedback that you get back from others. I do believe that. So then the other thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about also, connect with other coaches. Oh my God, that is such a good thing. But it's also, I've noticed a little bit of a competition type thing. So when you're looking for a support group of other coaches, like-minded coaches like yourself, look for a few things. Look to make sure that you feel that there's no competition going on, and the only way that you will know that is if you kind of maybe go back and see if there's other people that have taken that, have been a part of that group, and kind of get their feedback. It's not about them talking bad about them, but just get some honest feedback about is this a good group to join? What are the values? What are the morals? What are the things that they do that you liked? What are the things that they did that you didn't like? Why do you stay a part of this group? And there's like thousands and thousands of groups out there. So get with those coaches that will not only help you to grow and to be a better coach, but to also you can be connected, and then you can help other coaches that come in as well that started out at the same level that you did, and then you can help them get higher and higher and higher. Because that's really what coaching is all about. It's not about just holding all of that information in for yourself, but it's about sharing and expanding and helping those not only in your niche but in other niches. But also COVID really has put people in a state of mind where I'm stuck in the house. I don't know what my purpose is anymore. I was doing this job, and I get this all the time. Oh my God. I get so many people saying, I'm stuck at home now. And now that I look back over, this year, I realized that this is really not what I want to do. I want a different career path, or I really wanted to write this book, or I really wanted to start this business. So COVID has pushed some people to really reevaluate their lives. And that's where you come in as a coach. You can help those that really are at a point where, I'm stuck. I don't know where to go. I don't know, who to trust. I don't know the first thing about starting a business. I don't know, what I need, all of that stuff. That's where you come in as a coach to help coach them, to give them the information, and to meet their need. Because that's all coaching is, meeting the need of those that need you. It's all about the need. And so, um, one of the other things that I wanted to definitely talk to you about, um, coaching during COVID-19, is marketing. I have people all the time that say, Miss Katrina, how do you, how does your calendar stay busy? With all of the things that you've got going on, I post out on social media, when, the Lord has blessed me to, get a wedding, or, to be a blessing to, to the community. I am a program coordinator for a nonprofit. And so that takes a lot of my time and energy. And so I'm on the board as well. So that means that, I'm doing things to help um, gravitate or help us to get money in order to help our community. And I'm in the Charlotte area. So we always have, initiatives and drives to, for coats and, personal, items for our homeless community, for, those that are just, during COVID, we fed people, during Thanksgiving. We bought, toys for families for Christmas. We put a homeless couple that was living in their car, with two babies. We put them up in a hotel until, they could, move out of there and, find, some residence. So it's just being a part of not only doing this as a coach and making money, because you do this not for free, but the other flip side of that is to giving back where the money, you're not making any money. And so you have to, again, like I said earlier, have a heart for, for God's people. And, sometimes people, they can be very unlovable, you know, but still God will put you in the place to help those that really need your help and your expertise and your knowledge. So just think about that it's not all about making money and getting a bunch of clients and, being on these huge platforms, but it's all about turning around and giving back to your community, being of service, being a servant. So, and I believe that's what coaching is. Coaching is definitely being a servant. No, you're not a pushover, and no, you don't want people to walk all over you, but you do have a story to share, and you do have something that somebody needs to hear. It could be here in the United States, it could be abroad, whatever your story is that can help, a young lady that, got pregnant and she had an abortion and she doesn't, feel good about herself. There are men and women that have self-esteem issues that, need your help because maybe you went through that. There's someone out there that thought about committing suicide, and maybe at one time in your life you felt that way because the way you were thinking, we have thought awareness coaches out there. Again, there just are so many areas that people are in need of right now, and you have what they need. No longer think that your story is not important. And I want to thank Ona Brown for reminding me of that. So let's talk about marketing. Marketing is one of the things that is very, very expensive in sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes. And so people ask me all the time, Catrina, how do you get your clients? How do you stay busy? Now, because I'm in the wedding industry, not only life coaching, but I'm in the wedding, industry as well. I'm a licensed and ordained minister. And so as a coach, I can use my premarital uh, business or my premarital experience, or just going through, me personally being divorced, and going through so many different things that I went through, abuse, mental abuse, you know um, self-esteem issues, just a lot of those things, that I'm able to take my experiences that I went through being married and helping other couples, especially when it comes to communication. Communication is really big, when it comes to, premarital counseling, premarital coaching for couples, because again, men think one way and women think another. And we think just because we snapping our head and, clicking our teeth and, that, we're this strong woman, but that's not what a strong woman is. A strong woman is a virtuous woman that knows how to talk to someone and get her point across, but yet not feel threatened, And what I mean not feel threatened is I can stand up here and I can talk to you, and that's my grandson, and I can share with you, and I feel confident in who I am, and I don't feel threatened by you because of who you are, or what education you may have. I want to share this really quickly, and I thought this was really good when we talked about education. So I'm working with a couple right now, and a lot of times when I'm marrying couples, some of them want premarital coaching and some of them don't. And then sometimes they come back after they're married, and I give them, their coaching sessions. And so I've got this couple that I'm working with, and this is what I talk about when I want to encourage you about your story. We'll get back into marketing in a minute, but this is what I want to say when I want to encourage you about your story. So everybody knows that I'm a certified life coach. I'm also an ordained minister. I have certifications in other areas. I have a degree, an associate degree in accounting, which is so totally different than what I'm actually doing now. So I'm working with an actual counselor and her husband that are getting married, and she has a degree. She has a psychology degree. She's a degree counselor, psychologist, but she called on me to help with their premarital counseling. She is a marriage counselor. She's a relationship counselor. And so, I just thought that was just so humbling to have someone that, yeah, they're degreed up, and I'm certified, but because of the knowledge base, and because I feel like I'm a subject matter expert in what I do when it comes to relationships and marriage and couples, guess what? I'm counseling them. I'm coaching them. So never think that just because you don't have a degree, or just because, you don't have all these awards and trophies and certifications, that your story is not important, that your story can't change your life, that your coaching business can't change your life, because it can. I just had to share that. I didn't want to, I'm not bragging, but I really, really did want to share that with you, because that was so humbling for me. So let's get back to marketing. So marketing, again, is very important for the coaching business. And people say, well, I don't have the money to market. I don't, how are people going to know about you? How are people going to see you in the sea and the ocean of all these other coaches that are out there? What are you doing that's different than another coach? What's your hook? What is your subject matter that you feel like that you can help, someone? So marketing is very important. And so again, a lot of times people do a lot of, Facebook ads and do a lot of marketing on Facebook, which is good. People use Google ads. That's good. I use because again I'm in the wedding business, so I use um, Thumbtack, and I use the Knot. I also use Google Ads, and then there's a couple of groups that are on Facebook that I use as well. So you really and truly, if you say, well, I don't have a marketing budget. And a lot of times some of us, we started out without a marketing budget. We just kind of like put our stuff out there in the wind, and, hopefully, somebody saw us and they reached out to us. People have websites. Some people don't have websites. Well, do I need to have a website? And you really don't, because I don't lead a lot of people to my website, unless they ask, and then I send them there. But, do I have to have a website? A social media, people are all hung up on, well, I have to have a Facebook page, and I have to have an Instagram, and I got to have a Pinterest, and do I need to have a Twitter page? And, so you need to look at your business. You need to look at what you're doing. Do I need to do a podcast? Because I don't like to get on the camera. I don't like to, but if you're a coach, you're eventually going to be face to face once COVID is all over with, coaching during COVID-19. Once post COVID, you prayerfully will begin to get back in front of people. You'll begin to have those large platforms, because a lot of people are doing virtual conferences where they're having hundreds and thousands of people that are tuning in to those conferences because they're missing that one, that physical conference atmosphere. So now they're doing virtual conferences. I have one coming up in March. So now, post-COVID, you need to be able to get on that platform, on that stage, if you're wanting to do those big arena group sessions, or if you're wanting to do something just as small as 10 or 15 people. You've got to be ready to do that and market yourself. And I stutter a lot, and I say but you know what? I'm not concerned about that, because that's who I am, and I'm comfortable with what I speak, and I prayerfully hope that what I say, I deliver it in a way that people can understand it. So again, and a guy talked about that on a Brown thing. He was like, well, sometimes I feel like, I don't speak well enough, and people, don't understand me. And so if that's a issue for you, then what you can do is begin to work on those type of things. And marketing is just now not getting yourself out there to be seen, but marketing is also your brand and how people see you. And, it's all about branding. People say it's all about branding, it's all about marketing, but just be yourself. You don't want to go out there and, not know what you're talking about. But if you're passionate about what you do, then people will listen. Get that? If you're passionate about what you do, people will listen. If they've seen the change in you, people will follow. I always remember when they talked about that movie, I think it was Field of Dreams. They said, if you build it, they will come. And a lot of times that's true. If you begin to build your business, if you begin to build your confidence, if you begin to build, your self-esteem, if you begin to people see your confidence and understand that, that's what I want to be like. I want my business to grow like that, because people look at your fruits. Fruits are more important than what you say out of your mouth. People, like I said earlier, are visual. And if they see you being blessed, if they see you, moving forward, and your business, coaching business is moving from level to level, you're not always, hee-hawing and crying and talking about, oh, woe is me. If they actually see the fruit, then they will begin to follow you. And it takes a while because I did that myself with several of my business coaches. I followed them for a while. I saw, what they were doing, and I saw not that they were getting people to come in and follow them, but I saw the fruits of their labor. And that's when I realized that's what I want to be a part of. I want them to teach me how to take my business to the next level. And so that's what I feel like at this point in my life, I need to give back. I want to, and that's why I wanted to do this coaching during COVID-19. I wanted to give you some tidbits. I wanted to give you some information that you probably are already doing and some things that you may not be doing that's going to help you move to the next level. Again, we talked about marketing. A lot of people don't know how to market. If you don't know how to market, you better Google it. Get online and find some different ways to get yourself out there. A lot of these teachable courses that people are doing, you're doing these funnels and all that kind of stuff, and that's great. But again, if you don't get someone that can teach you and show you how to work this stuff, then you get frustrated. Because I did that before as a coach. I was like, well, which one should I pick? Should I pick Teachable? Should I pick Think It? Should I pick Kajabi? Should I pick this one and that one? But you have to do your research too as a coach. You have to see what works for you. And if that works for you, then you see if you can help someone else and see if that works for them as well. So that's really what it's all about. And that's kind of what I wanted to talk to you guys about today. Coaching during COVID-19. It has been a trying time for each and every one of us. But can you continue to be successful? Yes, you can. There's so many options out there for you when it comes to marketing, when it comes to, getting your business out there. During the marketing, doing your marketing, there's different ways to get your business out there. There's different ways that you can reach clients, whether it's virtual. Let me say this too, and I didn't say this during the options for coaches during the pandemic. A lot of people, like you said, are doing the virtual, whether it's group sessions or one-on-ones. But in the wedding business, as an officiant, when I marry people, I masked up because of COVID, the guidelines, but people are still wanting that one-on-one. People are still wanting you to be in their presence. And if that happens, I want you to make sure that you set yourself up for success and you set them up for success, but you also follow the guidelines that have been set out there to keep yourself healthy and safe. If you want to do one-on-ones, face-to-face, in person, like the woman that said on the webinar on Ona Brown the other day, I miss people. I miss being in their presence. If you still want to do those type of sessions, you can, but you have to follow the guidelines. Some states say you can only have any more than 10 or 15 people. Some venues won't even allow you to have it unless you do temperature checks, or you're wearing masks, you have this hand sanitizer. Again, as a wedding officiant, I've done so many weddings last year and preparing to do weddings this year where I can't do weddings virtually. I have to be in the presence of my bride and groom. So again, if you as a coach want to be in the presence of your client, make sure that you put yourself in, in a safe place where you're wearing your mask, you're 6 feet apart, and you're in a place where it's COVID. The guidelines for COVID are being followed. Okay, so I hope that helps some of you today. Again, I just wanted to come on and just share coaching through COVID-19. There's so many ways that you can still be successful as an entrepreneur, as a coach, just as, a human being, just being available for those. And it's all about meeting the need. That's really what it is. If you meet their needs they will refer you out to their friends and their friends. I get so many referrals, when somebody has seen me do something at an event or at a wedding, or if I've taught at a workshop or a seminar, and I've gotten emails or I've gotten phone calls, and they said, I want you to come and I want you to come speak, or I want you to come teach. It's always about you giving back and giving your best, because again, we all have a story to tell. So again, I just pray that everything that I spoke to you today was a blessing to you. If you ever need to reach out to me for anything, any coaching sessions, weddings, to be on, your platform, reach out to me. My email address is hello@katrinareese.com. My website is www.katrinareese.com. You can find me on all the social media platforms. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. I'm on Pinterest. I'm on YouTube. I'm on Twitter. So all you have to do is Google my name, Catrina, Catrina, Reese, Reese, and just reach out to me. I'm always here. I'm a mentor. I've been mentoring, other coaches. I'm not only mentoring other coaches, but I'm mentoring other people that really, want to see their lives change for the better. And it's all about, it's what's on the inside. So, just give your best, because coaching during COVID-19, it can happen. It really can happen, and you can make it happen. Again, thank you so much. This is Catrina Reese with Catrina Reese LLC. Also, this is a part of Let's Talk Kingdom with Catrina. So this will be re-aired not only on our YouTube page, but it will be re-aired on to Sensational Sounds Radio. And that's on Mondays at 5 p.m. And if you go to any of my social media pages, you'll see where that show will be broadcast. So again, thank you so much. You guys have a wonderful weekend. Again, if you have any additional questions, feel free to reach out to me via email, or reach out to me on through social media, or just, if you see me in Charlotte and you say, oh, I know who that is, that's Miss Catrina, Catrina Reese for Catrina Reese LLC, then shoot me a high five. But thank you so much, guys. I love you. And again, God bless you. Take care of yourself during this pandemic. Do what you need to do to safeguard yourself and your family. Because again, this thing is no joke. I've had family members that have had it. I've had family members that have passed on because of it. I've had friends who have passed on because of it. And again, this thing is no joke. You really have to be serious about taking care of yourself and about taking care of your clients. Because again, if you want to meet with them one-on-one, just like she was saying, I miss that. Yeah, I miss it too. I miss getting a call and meeting, a bride or a groom or a potential client at Panera's, or, one of our, my meeting spots, or meeting, in my office. But you know what? You have to do what you got to do. You have to keep yourself safe, and you can coach during COVID-19. Remember that. Again, I'm always here for you. And as we always talk at the end of my show, let's talk, everybody. Y'all have a great evening. And remember, I love you, and God does too. You be blessed.